If you have endometriomas, also known as chocolate cysts, you've probably been told that surgery or hormonal suppression are your only options. But what if I told you that's not entirely true? In this video, I'm breaking down the top 3 science-backed strategies you can start today to support your body with endometriomas. Before we jump in, please give this video a like, share it with a friend, and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. You may or may not have been told that endometriomas are one of the most challenging aspects of endometriosis, but there are holistic strategies that can actually help reduce their size and prevent them from coming back. I've seen this work with many of my clients time and time again. So let's get into it. All right, so first let's quickly cover what we're dealing with. Endometriomas are fluid-filled cysts that form on your ovaries. They're filled with dark brown fluid, which is why they're called chocolate cysts. The presence of endometriomas indicate a more severe stage of endometriosis, and they can lead to chronic pelvic pain and infertility. Now here's the thing, endometriomas are often difficult to address without surgery, which can be incredibly frustrating. But surgery isn't always the answer, and it definitely isn't the only answer. In fact, surgery often affects ovarian reserve, which is especially concerning if you have a current or future fertility goal. So what can you do? Let's talk about the top 3 strategies. So strategy number 1 is balance your blood sugars with a low glycemic index diet. Now I know what you're thinking. What does blood sugar have to do with my ovarian cysts? Well, it turns out a lot. Studies show that women with higher glycemic index diets have a significantly higher risk of endometriosis. And here's where it gets really interesting. Research has found genetic links between endometriosis risk and blood sugar instability, metabolic conditions like diabetes, and insulin resistance. One study showed that if you're genetically predisposed to endometriosis, abnormal fasting insulin can actually trigger endometriosis and endometrioma development. So blood sugar stability isn't just about preventing metabolic conditions, it's about managing your endometriosis. So what does a low GI diet look like? A low glycemic index diet focuses on foods that cause a slow and steady rise in blood sugars instead of those sharp spikes and crashes. Foods are ranked from 0 to 100, and low GI foods, those ranked 55 or less, are digested slowly, which keeps your blood sugar stable. So here's what you need to do. First, always pair protein, fat, and fiber together at every meal. This combination slows the breakdown of carbohydrates into sugar that then enters the bloodstream and prevents blood sugar spikes. Second, prioritize your fiber sources in this order. Non-starchy vegetables first. Think spinach, kale, arugula, broccoli, cauliflower, zucchini, bell peppers, mushrooms, and cucumbers. Followed by fruits like berries, plums, cherries, and green bananas, then legumes like chickpeas and kidney beans, and lastly, whole grains. Third, space your meals 3.5 to 4 hours apart. This gives your body time to properly process each meal and keeps your insulin and blood sugar levels stable. Some of the best low GI foods you can eat include leafy greens, cruciferous vegetables, plain Greek yogurt, chia seeds, flax seeds, almonds, walnuts, Brazil nuts, and pumpkin seeds. And here's a bonus tip. Magnesium is incredibly helpful for blood sugar stability. I highly recommend a magnesium supplement that includes either magnesium glycinate or citrate, or a combination of the two. These help with elimination, sleep, muscle cramping, and stress resilience. All right, strategy number 2 is to support healthy blood flow. This is something most people don't talk about, but it's huge when it comes to endometriomas. Impaired blood flow to the pelvic area is a common issue in women with endometriomas and endometriosis. That reduced circulation can be a standalone cause for pelvic pain and discomfort. But here's what's really interesting. Poor blood flow might actually contribute to endometrioma development in the first place. One study showed that surgical removal of endometriomas improved arterial blood flow and resulted in positive fertility outcomes. Another study found that left-sided endometriosis is more common. One theory that attempts to explain why is that fluid current is weaker and slower on the left side of the pelvis, which allows more time for endometriosis cells to attach and grow. Keep in mind, these are just theories. We don't know this for sure. So how do you improve blood flow? There are several ways, and I recommend doing a combination of these things as often as possible. The first is to eat nitrate-rich foods. These are foods that help dilate your blood vessels and promote blood flow. The best sources include beets or beetroot juice, arugula, spinach, Swiss chard, lettuce varieties like butterhead or romaine. Second, add ginger to your diet. One study showed that ginger, beetroot, and watermelon juice improved IVF outcomes, and ginger was included specifically for its effects on increasing nitric oxide production, which dilates blood vessels and promotes blood flow. Third, consider acupuncture. Acupuncture has been shown to increase blood flow to the ovaries, support ovarian health, and even improve insulin sensitivity. And finally, movement. Even gentle exercise like walking, rebounding, or yoga can help promote blood flow to your pelvis. Hot baths and heat packs placed over your abdomen can also be a helpful strategy to consider. All right, strategy number 3, optimize key nutrients, specifically vitamin D and zinc levels. These two nutrients are absolutely critical when it comes to endometriomas, and most women with endometriomas are deficient in both. Let's start with vitamin D. One study found that 85.7%, that's almost 86% of women with endometriomas had low vitamin D. That is huge, and it gets even more interesting. Another study showed that not only was vitamin D deficiency associated with endometrioma development, but the largest endometriomas were found in women with the lowest levels of vitamin D. So vitamin D deficiency isn't just correlated with endometriomas, it might actually be contributing to their growth. Here's what you need to know about vitamin D. The best food sources include fatty fish like salmon, sardines, mackerel, egg yolks, fortified plant milks, or dairy, and mushrooms exposed to UV light. You can also get vitamin D from the sun, but be aware that some people have vitamin D receptor mutations that make it harder to convert vitamin D from sun exposure. If you're gonna supplement, and I recommend that you do if you're deficient, don't exceed 4,000 international units daily unless you're being monitored by a knowledgeable practitioner. Vitamin D is fat soluble, which means it can build up in your body, and too much can pull calcium from your bone and interfere with magnesium absorption. You should always supplement based on your blood work results. Your vitamin D levels should be over 50 nanograms per milliliter, and if you have a fertility goal, you'll want them to be even a little bit higher. Now let's talk about zinc. Zinc deficiency has been shown to be associated with ovarian cyst development. And here's the thing, zinc is also essential for thyroid hormone conversion and inflammation reduction, so you have more than one reason to prioritize it. The best food sources of zinc include oysters, which is the highest natural source of zinc, pumpkin seeds, chickpeas, cashews, and grass-fed beef. If you're going to supplement, zinc picolinate or zinc bisglycinate are two highly absorbable forms. I always recommend supplementing zinc alongside copper as they have an antagonistic relationship. So too much of one can deplete the other, and there are implications to that. All right, so I want to give you one bonus tip that ties all of this together, and that is to support estrogen elimination. Endometriosis is an estrogen-dependent condition. Endometriosis lesions both rely on and produce their own source of estrogen to sustain their growth. Since estrogen is eliminated through your liver and gut, you want to support both of these pathways. To support estrogen elimination at the level of the liver, include lots of the following: cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, kale, radishes, and broccoli sprouts, flax seeds, oily fish, and dietary phytoestrogens like tofu, tempeh, edamame, if they are well tolerated in your unique case. If you can, try and pick organic, non-GMO options if accessible. To support estrogen elimination at the bowel level, focus on high fiber, hydrating foods like legumes, avocados, berries, pears and apples with the skins on, oats, and chia seeds. Hydrating foods and beverages like coconut water and celery juice are also rich in potassium, which helps stimulate your bowels for better elimination. All right, so let's recap the top 3 things you need to do if you want to improve endometriomas naturally. Number 1, balance your blood sugar with a low glycemic index diet. Number 2, support healthy blood flow to your pelvis. And number 3, optimize your vitamin D and zinc levels, and don't forget that bonus tip about supporting estrogen elimination. Now, I want to hear from you. Which one of these strategies are you going to commit to? Drop a comment below and let me know. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a like and share it with somebody who needs to hear this. If you want more in-depth information on holistic management of endometriomas, I have a detailed video on this topic and I'll link it in the description below. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button because I'm constantly putting out science-backed content to help you manage your endometriosis naturally. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.